The last message from Earth. The massive fleet of the Galactic Empire floated above Earth, like a dark cloud ready to bring a storm. Thousands of warships stood in perfect formation, shining metal beasts with weapons that had ended countless civilizations. Before, to them, Earth was just another name on their long list of conquered planets. Inside the command ship, Supreme Admiral Koro stood tall. His deep blue eyes looked down at the peaceful planet below. They have no space fleet, no planetary shields, no orbital defenses, he said, almost bored. General Tarek, his second in command, laughed. Primitive species. They still burn fuel to launch their satellites. They'll beg for mercy in a few hours. A young alien officer raised his hand. Sir ... we received a message from Earth. Koro turned. Play it. The entire bridge fell silent. Static crackled on the screen, and then a human voice came through, calm, steady, emotionless. We suggest you turn back. This is your only warning. The message ended. A moment passed. Then the crew laughed. That's it? Tarek chuckled. One line? They're bluffing, said another officer. That's what weaklings do before they kneel. But Koro frowned. Strange. Why only one message? Still, he waved it off. Begin the operation. Prepare the ground forces. Earth falls today. Within the hour, the first scout ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Their mission was simple. Scan major cities, monitor resistance, and report back. But then something happened. Nothing. No video feed. No audio. No data. They simply disappeared. Try another squad, Koro ordered. 5 more scout teams were launched. Same result. Silence. On the bridge, tension began to rise. Officers checked systems again and again, but no errors were found. They're gone, Admiral, said the comms technician. No sign of crash, no distress beacons, nothing at all. Koro clenched his fist. Earth is jamming our signals. But they don't have the technology. Tarek argued. Koro's voice was cold now. Apparently, we were wrong. Suddenly, all communication signals from Earth stopped. No radio, no satellite. Feeds, no internet traffic. A complete blackout. Did they shut down their own planet? Asked an officer in disbelief. No, said another quietly. Someone else did it for them. The Empire's entire fleet now hovered above a silent world. The humans weren't screaming. They weren't running. They weren't even visible. It was as if they had simply vanished. Send a destroyer down, Koro growled. A large warship descended toward Earth's surface. It hovered over New York, scanning the area. Still no life signs. Empty streets. Dead silence. And then one signal. A small radio transmission. Koro leaned forward. Play it. A child's voice echoed through the bridge. We told you to leave. The screen went black. Silence took over the Empire's war room. No one laughed now. Not even Tarek. Koro stared at the dark Earth below. What is this place? Then came another shock. One by one, some of the Empire's outer ships began to lose power. Their engines failed. Lights flickered. Communications dropped. They're shutting us down. A tech officer shouted. Impossible, someone yelled. They have no power grid strong enough to reach orbit. Koro shouted. Pull back. All ships. Form defensive mode. But then a final report hit the screen, terrifying and clear. The energy source is coming from the moon. They zoomed in. There were structures hidden in the shadows of the moon. Advanced. Cold. Silent. How long have those been there? Someone asked. No one knew? Koro stepped back, heart pounding. This ... this wasn't a planet waiting to be conquered. Tarek whispered, voice trembling. It's a trap. Suddenly, another voice broke into their system, deep, human, and mechanical. You invaded our skies. You threatened our people. You had your warning. The stars around Earth flickered, and the blackness of space seemed to move. Hundreds of shapes uncloaked Earth's hidden fleet. Sleek, sharp, unlike anything the Empire had seen. Koro's eyes widened. They were never behind. They were hiding. He turned to his crew. Alert the fleet. We are no longer the hunters. We are the prey. The Galactic Empire had never felt fear like this. Their warships, once proud and unstoppable, now floated nervously above a quiet world. Earth did not fire back. Earth did not answer calls. Earth did not even seem to blink. But Earth was watching. Inside the command ship, Admiral Koro stood in silence. The bridge was no longer filled with laughter or overconfidence. It was cold, tense, quiet. "Report," he said sharply. An officer turned. "Admiral, we are being scanned." "From where?" "Everywhere." Koro's face darkened. "Impossible." Across the fleet, ships began detecting unknown frequencies. Strange signals danced through their system, soft, coded, almost musical. The signals didn't attack. They listened, watched, studied. "We're not in control anymore," whispered General Tarek. Still, no weapons fired from Earth. No armies moved. Cities remained empty. It was as if the humans had walked away, or were hiding behind something far bigger than any alien could understand. Suddenly, a new signal broke through. It was a video feed. Grainy, low resolution. A single image filled the screen. A human child stood in front of a destroyed city, smiling. She spoke calmly, with no fear in her voice. "We asked you to leave. You didn't. Now you will learn why others fear silence." The screen cut to black. Panic spread on the bridge. Was that a threat? Someone asked. "No," Koro said, voice low. "That was a promise." Without warning, the stars around Earth began to flicker. But they were not stars. They were ships. Human ships. Hundreds of them. No glowing engines. No flashy weapons. Just dark, silent crafts moving with unnatural speed. Their design was alien even to the Empire. They were here the whole time. "Tarek," gasped. One officer shouted, "They've surrounded us." "No transmissions," said another. "No comms, no demands." Koro understood now humans had skipped diplomacy. They were already at war. The Empire launched scanners at the human fleet. What they found shook every technician. Double quotes. "There are no life forms on board. The ships are unmanned," a voice said. "AI controlled?" asked Koro. "No, something else. Something smarter." Just then, several Empire ships lost control of their targeting systems. Their weapons turned inward. One of the destroyers exploded without being touched. "They've hacked us," screamed an officer. The Empire tried to retreat, pulling ships out of orbit, but they couldn't. Earth had activated something, a gravitational lock from their own moon. It held the fleet in place like invisible chains. They built a trap in their own solar system, Tarek said, eyes wide. This wasn't a defense. This was a plan. Koro stared at the view screen, watching the human fleet grow closer, still not firing a single shot. "Why aren't they attacking?" he asked quietly. Just then, every screen on every ship flickered. One face appeared, a human. Old, calm, dressed not as a soldier, but a scientist. He spoke in a steady, cold voice. "You thought we were behind because we stayed quiet. We stayed quiet because we studied you. You brought war to our home," he continued. "And now you learn this was never your war to win." The human raised a hand. Across space, hundreds of cloaked satellites powered on. They formed a massive ring above Earth's orbit. Then, nothing. No explosions. No attacks. Just silence. Then, a sound. The hum of power got the Empire's fleet lights dimmed. Their engines slowed, got weapons powered down. One by one, the warships went dark. "They're draining us," said a terrified voice. Tarek looked around. "Is this the end?" Koro watched as Earth remained still, untouched, unbothered. "No," he said slowly. "This is only the beginning." In the cold silence of space, the Galactic Empire's mighty fleet now floated like metal statues. Their power was fading. Their confidence had already vanished. Inside the command ship, Admiral Koro stood still. Lights flickered above him. The air smelled of fear. Every officer on the bridge stared at their darkened screens, unable to speak. How are they doing this? Tarek whispered. "They're not attacking," said one of the technicians. "They're disabling." "Like hunters," Koro muttered, "wounding the prey before the kill." But no one knew how human ships began to move again. Slowly, silently, no sound, no energy spikes. Just pure movement like shadows drifting through the void. Their shapes were strange. Not bulky, not massive like Empire ships. They were small, sleek, fast. Some were shaped like knives. Others had no shape at all, just flowing black metal that reflected no light. "They're ghost ships," said one alien officer, his voice trembling. The human crafts glided through the Empire's formation, passing between their warships like sharks swimming through a school of helpless fish. Not a single shot was fired, and yet chaos spread suddenly. One of the Empire's cruisers lost oxygen pressure. Another spun out of control, its engines pushing it in circles. Screens on the flagship showed warning after warning systems failing, controls unresponsive, AI cores going offline. "All systems corrupted," someone shouted. "Our firewalls are useless." Then a new message appeared on every ship's display. "This is your second warning. Flee while you still can." Tarek looked around in disbelief. Second warning? What was the first? Koro didn't answer. He remembered Earth's first message. "We suggest you turn back." They weren't bluffing. They were preparing. Out the window, the human ships were now forming a circle around the Empire fleet. Perfect. Tight. Like a cage. Some tried to escape. 3 Empire warships fired emergency thrusters, breaking formation, aiming for deep space. They never made it. One by one, they blinked off the radar. No explosion, no signal. Just gone. What happened to them? Tarek asked. "Unknown," said a terrified voice. "We don't know if they were destroyed or just erased." Panic spread like wildfire. Even high-ranking officers lost control. "Order the fleet to retreat," Koro shouted. But before they could, another signal entered the ship's mainframe. This time, it wasn't just a message dot. It was a video feed, live, from inside one of the Empire's own ships. What they saw shocked them all. Humans inside the ship. Through the halls without fear. No weapons. No armor. Just calm, focused movement. "How did they board?" Tarek gasped. The ship was sealed. The humans weren't even rushing. They moved like they belonged there. Not one of them looked straight. Into the ship's security camera. A young woman. She spoke softly. "This is our galaxy too." The feed ended. Then, all across the Empire fleet, lights went out completely. Blackness. Total silence. Only one ship remained with power. The command ship. Koro stared at the darkness outside. Why are they letting us see all this? He didn't expect an answer, but he got one from behind. A voice. "Human. So you'll remember." Koro turned quickly, but no one was there. Just shadows. "Admiral," Tarek said, voice shaking. "I think they're already inside." Suddenly, Koro understood everything. The humans were not fighting the Empire. They were warning it, This wasn't revenge. It wasn't war. It was a demonstration. Earth had become something the galaxy never expected. A power hidden in silence. A storm hidden behind a smile. The Empire came to conquer and found something far worse. Admiral Koro stared at the dark screen. His hands were shaking. Around him, the bridge was filled with fear. The lights flickered. The air systems buzzed softly. One of the last systems still working. Do we have any contact with the rest of the fleet? He asked. No, Admiral, said the technician. All ships have gone dark, except ours? Tarek asked. The technician nodded. Just this one. It's like they want us to watch. Koro didn't like it. He felt it deep in his bones. This wasn't just a battle. It was a message. A slow, silent lesson the humans wanted them to understand. The command ship's sensors began to scan automatically. No one had activated them. Who ordered that? Koro barked. No one, said the tech. The ship is acting on its own. On the main screen, a live map appeared. The entire fleet was shown now offline. Each ship was floating, powerless, surrounded by human ghost ships. But the map zoomed out and kept zooming. Suddenly, new objects appeared far beyond Earth at the edge of the solar system. Hundreds more. What are those? Tarek asked. The computer labeled them automatically. Human defense grid. Outer ring. Even the Empire didn't know this existed. They built a second defense ring? An officer said. Beyond their planet? No, Koro said quietly. They didn't build a defense ring. They built a trap. One we walked into ourselves. Now it made sense. The silence. The one-line messages. The hidden fleet. Earth had been preparing for years, maybe decades, waiting for the Empire to make the first move, to come in too close, to feel too powerful. And when they did, snap, the humans closed the jaws of the trap. Suddenly, a strange sound filled the bridge. Clink, clink. Heavy footsteps, coming from the lower deck. Officers turned. Weapons raised, but it was too late. The door opened, and a human stepped inside, not wearing armor. No gun, just a black uniform and calm eyes. The crew froze. How did he get here? Someone whispered. The human looked around the room and spoke clearly. We tried to warn you. Tarek stepped forward, furious. You invaded our system. You should be the ones begging. The human didn't flinch. We didn't invade your galaxy. You came to ours. Koro stepped between them. What do you want from us? The human looked him in the eye. Nothing. The word was sharp, cold, empty. You came looking for control, the human continued. You wanted to break Earth, like you broke others. But we don't play your games. We don't follow your rules. Tarek growled. Why didn't you just fight back? Why hide? The human turned to him slowly, because a silent weapon is deadlier than a loud one. Suddenly, every screen on the bridge lit up. Live video feeds. Every single Empire ship now showed humans walking through their halls. Calm, focused, not killing, just disabling. One ship had its reactor core removed while the crew was still inside. Another ship had every weapon disassembled without opening fire. A third ship showed an alien commander sobbing, kneeling before a human officer who simply stood still. They weren't soldiers. They were something else. Engineers of chaos. Architects of silence. Koro lowered his head. It was over. He understood now. The Empire had brought fire to Earth. But Earth had been sitting in ice for years watching, planning, calculating. And when the fire touched it, the ice cracked open. Not with a scream, but with a whisper. The human turned to leave. Wait, Koro said. What happens to us? The human paused at the door. You'll go back. Alive? Tarek asked. Yes, the human said, because fear is stronger than death. He walked out, and just like that, power returned to the command ship. Screens blinked, engines restarted. Systems came online, but no other ship did. Only one message remained, blinking on the screen. Tell the galaxy what you saw. The Galactic Empire had never known defeat. For centuries, they ruled with fire, crushing every world that dared resist. Their fleets were symbols of fear until they reached Earth. Now, all that remained was silence. And a single working ship, Admiral. Koro stood on the bridge, pale and hollow-eyed. Around him, the crew whispered nervously. No one spoke above a whisper. The human had left the ship without a sound, but the fear he planted still lingered. Status of the fleet? Koro asked. Still disabled, the technician replied. No signals. No power. We're the only ship moving. And the human? Fleet? Tarek asked. The officer turned slowly. They're gone. Gone? Koro repeated. The screen confirmed it. All human ghost ships had vanished from radar without using engines. One moment they were there, surrounding the fleet. The next? Empty space. They let us live, someone whispered. No, Koro replied, eyes locked on the stars. They want us to carry the story, so no one ever forgets what happened here. But the lesson wasn't over yet. Suddenly, sensors lit up. Again, another ship was approaching. Fast. No signature, the tech said. Unknown build. Too big to be a human fighter. As the image sharpened, fear gripped the crew again. It wasn't just a ship. It was a monster. Nearly the size of a moon. Black as space itself, with jagged arms like broken bones. The ship made no sound. No energy waves. It just moved, bending. Light around it. It's not human, Tarek whispered. Is it? Koro watched the shape grow larger on the screen. It doesn't matter what it is. It belongs to them. The ship stopped in front of the command vessel. No weapons moved. No threat was made. But then, every screen flashed white. A message appeared. Observe. The crew obeyed. A live feed played this time from the outer edge of the solar system. There, the last remaining symbol of the Empire's strength, the legendary warship Eternal Vengeance, was approaching Earth, unaware of what had happened. It had been sent earlier. Slower, more powerful, and led by one of the Empire's most feared commanders. It was supposed to be Earth's final punishment, but it was walking into a grave. The bridge watched in silence as the massive warship entered the trap. No human ships greeted it. No warning came, just silence. Then, as it passed Saturn, the Eternal Vengeance shuddered. Its engines went offline. Lights flickered. Shields dropped. And then it imploded. No explosion. No fireball. It just collapsed, like a paper box crushed from the inside. In less than 3 seconds, the pride of the Empire vanished from space without a single shot fired. The crew gasped. Even Tarek stepped back. How? He whispered. Koro didn't answer. He understood. The humans had already boarded it before it even arrived. They had waited, watched, and ended the Empire's most powerful weapon without a word. The screen returned to black. Another message appeared. Your strongest was weak. Your pride was hollow. Koro's hands trembled. He had led the Empire's fleet with confidence, with arrogance. And now, all he could do was stare at the truth. They were never in control. The humans could have destroyed them. They didn't, because they didn't need to. They showed mercy, but made sure it tasted like fear. Then, the final transmission came. Through. It wasn't a message. It was a signal. Sent across the stars. To every system, every species, every observer. And the words were simple. Leave Earth alone. The message echoed through the galaxy. Even those far from the battle understood. Something had changed. Earth was no longer a backwater planet. It was now a shadow. A warning. A symbol. The Galactic Empire's command ship drifted quietly through space. Returning home in shame. Admiral Coral sat in silence, his eyes distant. Around him, no one spoke. The crew, once full of pride and arrogance, now looked broken. The memory of Earth, its silence, its shadows, its power haunted every breath they took. The stars ahead looked different now. They used to shine with conquest, with opportunity. Now, they looked like warnings. As the ship crossed back into neutral space, messages began pouring in. Not from Earth, not from the humans. From other species. Dozens. Hundreds. Some were allies of the Empire. Others were enemies. But all were asking the same question. Is it true? Koro didn't reply. He simply uploaded one file. The last human transmission. Leave Earth alone. And with it, the footage of what happened to the Eternal Vengeance. It spread like wildfire. In one solar cycle, over 400 worlds had received the warning. And one by one, they all went quiet. No one dared move toward Earth. No one sent scouts. No one sent threats. They now understood what the Empire had learned too late. Earth was not a target. Earth was a line. Cross it, and you vanish. Far across the galaxy, on a neutral research station. A young alien student watched the video of the human fleet in awe. His skin glowed dimly, showing his confusion. "Teacher," he said, "humans have no empire, no colonies, no control over other races. Why are we afraid of them?" The old alien scholar turned his eyes to the boy. "Because power doesn't always come from armies or planets. Sometimes it comes from silence." The boy frowned. "But they didn't even attack." "They didn't need to," the elder replied. "They let the Empire destroy itself with fear." Back on Earth, things were quiet again. No celebrations. No parades. Just peace. In an underground command room, the woman who had spoken to the Empire from their own ship stood before a holographic map. The human fleet had returned, hidden once more behind cloaking tech. The AI system beside her spoke softly. "The message has reached 89% of the known galaxy. Probes confirm full retreat of all enemy ships." "Good," she said. "Do you wish to decloak our ships?" She shook her head. "No, let them wonder." "Shall I archive the event under Operation Phantom?" She smiled. "No, call it what it really was." She typed 2 words into the system. "Final warning. On the edges of the galaxy, far from Earth." An ancient race watched the transmissions. They had never revealed themselves. For millennia, they remained silent, observing. Now, they finally spoke. "Earth has awakened," one said. "Do we act?" Another asked. The oldest among them answered, "No, let them rise. Let the others fear. And us?" A younger voice asked. The elder looked at the screen and smiled. "We feared them long before the Empire did." Back in the Empire's capital, the Emperor sat in his golden throne, eyes wide, hands trembling. He had just watched the entire report. "The humans," he whispered, "they could have destroyed everything." "But they didn't," said his advisor. "Why?" The advisor shook his head. "Because they don't want to rule the galaxy." "And what do they want?" The room fell silent. No one had the answer, because the humans never said it. They didn't threaten. They didn't boast. They only said one thing: "Leave us alone." And now, everyone would. Forever. The end.